Program BA Psychology, first semester, session number 9. The topic is error in perception. Today's session, the main content is error in perception. In that, illusions, types, horizontal, vertical, and Mullah layer, and illusions of movement we are going to be studying. So, before explaining the moon illusion, first we'll see what is the meaning of illusions and what is the error in perceptions. What we perceive in an external event depends on mainly our sensory organs and the brain. Once we form habitual ways of responding to our environment, we resist the changes. However, we cannot relate to our sense always because the perceptual process may go wrong and misstate us. At times, we perceive things that do not exist. All false perceptions occurs when perceptual stimulus fails to correspond with the real stimulus in the environment. Two frequently occurring errors in a perceptions are discussed here under two different phenomena, namely illusions and hallucinations. So first we'll see what is the meaning of illusions. Illusions is one of the such perceptual destruction. Illusions many create bias in us to destroy the reality. Consequently, we make a faulty interpretation of the environment. See, illusion is the term used to psychologists to refer to false perception. An illusion is a wrong or inaccurate mistaken perception of existing sensory stimulus. This error of perception is owing a wrong interpretation of stimulus. Illusions are also referred to as a false interpretation of sensory information, a piece of rope, and misinterpreted as a snake. This is a common example of illusions. Here first we'll see moon illusions. When it directly override the one explanation says that the moon illusions depends on visual consistency. When it's close to the horizon, we have cues, distance, and well, it is a overhead, we don't get any cues of distance. See, have you ever noticed how the moon appears to be a much larger as it rises over the horizon than the it is a directly overhead? And is the answer based on the brain attempt to correct for what it thinks is mistake perceptions. The moon projects the same size image on our retina when it is on the horizon. It is a does when it is a directly overhead. But when the moon is on the horizon, our brain is tricked into thinking that the moon is actually further away than it is when it is overhead. The Pons illusions, this same logic underlies the Pons illusions. Here, lines of equal length that lies across the converging lines appear to be unequal in length. In a Bones illusions, linear perspective and height on the horizons, cues tell the brain that the top line is further all away than the bottom. Yes, both lines project the same size image on the retina in attempt the maintain size constancy. The brain is influence our perception of the top. The lens thus causing the illusions that the top line looks longer than bottom line. These illusions occurs even we do not consciously perceive that the line top is further. See, in simple form of the Pons illusion consists of two gradually converging the lines that gives the impressions increase in the depth in between the two crosswise parallel lines. The vertical or horizontal illusions come on different versions including L and plus configurations, but inverted T is the most common. The vertical illusion is one of the among the number of illusions when a central aspect of a simple line image, for example, the line straightness and parallelism of lines appears to distracted by the others aspected of the image. Example, other background, foreground lines or other intersecting shapes. These are sometimes called geometrical optical illusion. You can search for other geometric illusions, the illusions index. Index to the both horizontal and vertical lines are equal length and vertical line is perceived as longer than horizontal. One explanation for how the vertical horizontal illusions works is the misapplied size constancy is a scaling hypothesis which is also used to try and explain the Mullah illusions. According to the explanation, the intersecting lines engage the part of the visual system that deals with the depth and cues in retinal images and result in the vertical line being the perceived as longer because it is a proceed as bring further away. Other have proposed explanations which is a different parts of the our visual system including the high. The vertical horizontal illusions is interesting because it is relevant to debates about the modularity, cognitive penetrations, and the nature of experience. To explain on the hypothesis that a mind modular, a mental module is a kind of semi-independent department of the mind which deals with the particular types of inputs and gives particular types of outputs and whose inner working are not accessible to the conscious awareness of the person. All one can get access to are the relevant output, and in the horizontal vertical is the line is drawn from the midpoint of the horizontal lines in the right angle position. The vertical line appear to be longer than the horizontal line. So both the lines are equal length. One explanation is that the movement of the eyes along with the vertical line is more strenuous than the movement on the horizontal line. The Muller layer affects the apparent difference in the length of the line as the result, and its adornment with the arrowheads or arrow tails is the best known and most controversial of the classical geometrical illusions. By sampling a range image database of natural scenes, we show that the perceptual effects elicited by the Muller layer stimulus and its major variant are correctly predicted by the probability distributions of the possible physical sources underlying the relevant retinal images. These results support the conclusion that the Muller illusions is a manifestation of the probabilistic strategy of visual processing that has evolved to contend with the uncertain the prominence of retinal stimuli. Sometimes a visual perception occurs when the strategies that lead to a accurate perception are extended to situations where they do not happen. Now compare the two lines. Most of us will perceive the line and has longer than once when the lines are measured they are found to be exactly of the same length. This is the Muller illusions named after the man who devised it in 1889. We tend to view the longer than one figure to illusions could be due to the perception of the line enclosed by the feather or arrow heads. Commonly, the length of the two figures line is underestimated, and other factors like thickness of the lines and color of the lines may also contribute to the expense of the illusions. Size constancy probably play also a role of the molecular relations in the solutions. Our perception of the length and vertical segment changes depending on the directions of the arrow and either at the either end of the lines. When the arrow is extended away, the line looks longer. These are the reference book we are refer for presentation. That is a Robert S. Feldman is understanding psychology and Ilgard Richard Atkinson and Rita Atkinson of the introduction of psychology.